championship just 2 years in 2020.
Luca Marini walks off the grid. Valentino Rossi will be keeping a close eye on his team's prospect. Marco Bezzecchi, after a crash-strewn Saturday, starts back in, should I say, and quick in free practice 4. So keep an eye out for him. Those are the numbers, the raw numbers of 2022. In terms of which, Fabio Quartararo in the hunt. Fabio
calm and relaxed about title contenders. Fabio Quartararo looking very chilled out, as it wasn't he? Consider he'd already got a dry mouth as the tension celebrating this final fight in the blue anthem of Spain and the Valencian anthem as well. Myself and Lewis will take a short pause and then we'll be back to continue time. A Premier Class World Championship has been decided. He's just trying to keep himself in the zone. Keeping match point number 1 wasn't converted in Sepang 2 weeks ago. Pre-race ceremony. We are just over 6 minutes away. Pecco Bagnaia. Nervous is the understatement of the season and the century. Marc Marquez then. Let's get some pre-race thoughts of their team manager, Alberto Puig.
Albert's amazing. It looked like he found another setting on the bike that...
Very tight circuit. Quartararo has to win, yes or yes. It's a group of riders that can be very fast, but also...
Mark will be fast and he will go for it. That's the only way here. We've got the Mexican wave going across the grandstands. 1,000 fans packed into this Ricardo Tormo, the biggest stage of all for Pecco. Extremely relaxed. He knows what the scenario is. He was asked on Friday by the Miz, all the pressure's on his shoulders coming into that last Grand Prix of the season with the 23 points we mentioned are going to be like dynamite, aren't they? It's going to be pretty fast and frenetic as Quartararo, the 3Ms on that front row.
Yeah, Jack Miller on the grid. Marc Marquez summed it up better than any of us. He said, Fabio Quartararo, as Matt says, he has to try and get himself to the front of the Grand Prix. Quartararo get himself to the front of the Grand Prix, because if it's Bagnaia to come around, see his pit board and see that Quartararo is...
The Novo team is Jack Miller to win on his farewell appearance. Thriller Miller then on his Ducati farewell. Starts from the front row of the 2 for Prima Pramac racing man, Jorge Martin. But as the MotoGP crown in 2022, there's the reigning world champion Valencia. It's all in the hands of this man, Italy's Valencia.
MotoGP World Championship will be decided over 24th on the grid. He has to be aggressive. He has to go forward on this first lap of the...
In MotoGP history, that the world title has been this surprise turnover in the final Grand Prix 16 years ago to Pecco Bagnaia and Ducati. Fabio Quartararo condition we've had all weekend here in Valencia. 28 the warm-up lap here, 8th place on the grid. He goes. He was the race clean sweep of the MotoGP podium. The Ducati fans, the Bagnaia fans, 3 points clear as the number 63 going into this 27 lap in MotoGP in 2022. And it all builds up to the Tormo circuit in Valencia. Not a spare seat attendance of over 170,000 fans. P-race here in Valencia for the title decider, Fabio Quartararo at Ducati, as the riders then filter through the final corner to this is the showdown, this is the shootout, this is this month's 246 days, 19 races and 4 off under the night lights in Qatar. It all comes down to one race, battle every rider dreams of, every rider wants. It's Valencia, green flag waves at the back. It's going to be lights out, it's out full throttle and we're underway. The biggest prize in racing, the first corner. Quartararo's been swallowed up by Brad Binder, I think, on the Cape. 5th to 1st.
Quartararo super late on the brakes there. He's trying to go around the app, make a good start. He's up a couple of places off the grid. Bagnaia currently running in.
Now this is a big problem for Fabio Quartararo. He did not get the start. Marquez is going to be aggressive off the line. That's exactly as he is. Marquez then back up into the...
Very few of them involved Alex Rinstick taking the lead as Marquez again forces his way past.
Ran out to the marbles on the outside of turn number 8. Bagnaia had to lift coming through turn number 9. That's going to compromise his momentum in that first lap. Alex Rins with a sensational start of the season, of their current campaign. Rins,
he was super late on the brakes into turn 14 and was able to keep the 22 out onto that home straight. And look at Jack Miller, he opens the taps that way.
He's all in, full attack, maximum risk here, isn't he, the reigning world champion? In the mouth action here. What a way to start this title decider between the top two men in the championship.
This thing every lap, like it's the last lap, Fabio Quartararo, but he needs to be sensible here as much as he needs to be a leading group of 4, which Jack Miller is now a part of, are gapping Bagnaia. This is perfect for Bagnaia.
Detached from one of those bikes in that melee going into turn number 2. There is Miller on the inside of Fabio. Well, that was rubbing for the title, wasn't it? We're about Rins leads by 2/10 from Jorge Martin. Quickest man on circuit is Marc Marquez.
Look from the front on shot has come off the front of Fabio Quartararo's Yamaha, who's on the first 2 laps of the race, as much as he needs to be in as good a position as possible. So Quartararo carrying.
Kicked off, wasn't he? But already now, that miracle getting bigger and bigger because Quartararo.
Simon, down to you. I think you can identify what came off Fabio Quartararo's Yamaha.
Yeah, it was the right off, not off the Yamaha.
Yeah, well, that's going to be on Pecco Bagnaia's Ducati, which is going to make that bike shoulder cam then with Fabio Quartararo. He's slender and slim, out ahead of him. Rins and Marc Marquez have got the best pace in this Grand Prix so far. They've started in 2019. Cast your minds back just a couple of weeks ago, the Phillip Island in Australia.
And as we stand at the moment, it's 2 seconds, the gap between Alex Rins' position as the race finally starts to settle down a little bit. As mentioned, Pecco Bagnaia won the more than half. Brad Binder can get past Fabio Quartararo's Yamaha over the line last time round. He's the fastest lap of the race.
It was Aleix Espargaro. What happened to Aleix Espargaro?
He's not even come over the line yet, he's in last position.
What happened to Aleix Espargaro? Because Bastianini now only needs to finish to take 3rd in the rankings. He can make it through on the factory Yamaha. They're now side by side, leaning on each other again, aren't they? They've already had contact.
Onto the pit straight. He needs to have the 3rd and 4th sector of his life here, Fabio Quartararo. He needs to try. Does he attack and get back past Quartararo on the main straight next time round, or does he just shadow him?
Got a big gap to bridge to get himself in podium contention, let alone win this Grand Prix, which he simped over the line to complete lap number 4 of 27 here, and our title decider in Valencia. Rin 294. Here comes Bagnaia again, threatening a move on the inside of Quartararo into the first corner. The gap here today started 7th, on course for maybe a late podium champ. Much rear tyres he having to use and abuse to get himself in the hunt for Antoine Mir, having got through on Pecco Bagnaia on the previous lap. Through on Bagnaia, 1:31.701 was Mir's best lap of the Grand Prix.
He'll be gnawing away at Brad Binder to take a victory as Oliveira can protect him. This is the kind of scenario that
Bagnaia is struggling without that complete aero package on the right-hand side. He's been 11. Mir nearly rear-ended him a few laps ago. That time out is Miguel Oliveira as well. He's closing in quickly here on Jack Miller. Over the line, the gap was down to 7/10 to work out how on earth he keeps the charging Brad Binder away. And here comes Binder. Team.
Oh, there goes Oliveira then. Oliveira does now go through on Bagnaia, and so Bagnaia loses a position to Miguel Oliveira. Surely now Luca Marini will just... He's sitting in 8th position behind the World Championship leader. Up against Pecco Bagnaia, give him as wide a berth as possible. And Marini surely now nurse him to the finish.
Marini's clearly faster, by far the faster. I feel that he can get through on Bagnaia, but he knows he won't need it, won't he? No sense in taking the big risk to pass his VR46. It's going to get really interesting, isn't it? This is building up to a pretty thrilling climax here in Valencia. For the podium, here comes Binder on the inside with some slipstream on the factory Yam. Quartararo on the brakes on the factory Yam.
Too late.
Into the first corner. He just went 2. And Brad Binder's stunning recovery, stunning charge.
Quartararo needs to just keep calm here. That's not the worst piece of news actually for Quartararo. Group ahead of him, this leading group of 3. So Quartararo, if he can just stay on the rear wheel of Brad Binder, has got the pace and he's got the time. Still 10 laps to win this Grand Prix. No,
the possibility of going through an entire Grand Prix season without taking a victory. And can he end the season? Well, he started the year, didn't he, in Stellar start with Miguel Oliveira winning round 2 in Mandalika. They've been a little bit when with a flurry. Brilliant charge, as we mentioned, by Binder. What can he do now? They're punishing turn number 13.
Well, Jack Miller needs to make quick work here of
Alex
Rins is pulling away at the front of the Grand Prix. He wants that Hollywood finish. Forces last time round. The lead is just under 1 second.
The problem now for Alex Rins is coming to the phase of a Grand Prix where the Suzuki normally and tends to tyre conservation. Alex Rins is as smooth as butter in that right hand. He's all Marini now sort of being held up, well, quite clearly held up by Bagnaia, and that's 8th place. when will Marini decide if he is going to go through? Because there's still 8. Well, there you go. We didn't even need to wait too long because Marini has then
making gap behind Pecco Bagnaia, so he can then relax in that stage. So into turn 4, Marini difficult for the Ducati. Bastianini, the manager, will have seen that, and we're looking to do this. Doesn't quite have the same tension on it that their battle in Malaysia had when they were battling for the 0.0. Will have a good look behind him, see that 3-second gap, and just
Pecco Bagnaia race for the entire season. You can understand why they've been world champions. 13 years since an Italian has won the title. At the moment, then here comes the beast. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? No, not quite close enough.
Line of his pit board, he said P5 on it. That will be obviously keeping Bagnaia fully up to date at the end of every lap, where Fabio doesn't see a P1 at the bottom of it.
On board there, the comfort, isn't it, for Ducati? These two have had Aragon in Mazzano, in Sepang last time out.
Just a bit of information for you. There appears to be an issue with Joan Mir's, but he is still there, running in 6th position. Mir, you know.
So then we're on board with Bastianini. Still, it's the advantage. Alex Rins, who's led the entire, been absolutely superb. An exhibition in leading a Grand Prix these last 7 laps or so. He's 0.8 of a second clear at turn number 4. They're all closing up now, aren't they? And Jorge Martin, they've got to get an attack on Martin into turn number 6. Well, he is, but he can't find a way through.
And last lap, so Rins' charge and his attempt to check out hasn't quite succeeded just yet, but that ain't the stage. But we're about to get a glimpse into KTM's future, aren't they? Jack Miller and Brad Binder.
If Alex Rins wins this Grand Prix, and he's in such an excellent position to do so, people scratching their heads about how they've come to make that decision. This is their last hurrah, and what a last hurrah it's been so far for the front of this Grand Prix. He's about to come over the line now and start lap 22 clear of Jorge Martin, who's doing a fantastic job defending that 2nd place from Miller.
Well, Quartararo was the quickest of them though, but again, not by enough. Fastest rider on circuit now, Joan Mir, running in a very lonely 6th position as he pulls clear. Bagnaia and Bastianini, and Bagnaia got well out of the way.
Yeah, he left rear tyre, and as you'd expect, taking the safest option in any Grand Prix, in any class. He just let Bastianini have that without a tech problem very early on here in Valencia.
Yeah, we need to remind ourselves, actually, it's 9th on our order on the left-hand side of your screens, but he is still there. He is still running in 6th. Keep you up to date on that if it becomes relevant, if Bagnaia slips low enough in the Ducati pit box.
Look at the tension in that factory Ducati garage. It was so tense. Did you see his right leg as well? It was bouncing up and down. Carola Bagnaia, Pecco's sister, who's a constant sidekick. Domitia Castagnini, Pecco Bagnaia's girlfriend, is Binder on the inside. 8 fireworks coming here from Brad Binder. He's on that podium, but he's KTM man here. 4.5 laps to go in Valencia. Binder third. Martin comes strong late on here in Valencia.
Yeah, Martin's not giving up on the 2022, but Alex Rins fully motivated. He's got pictures of the crash helmet for this final Grand Prix of the season and the final race for Suzuki. What as Bagnaia receives the information that the rider behind him is Morbidelli.
Podium hopes, they have evaporated in a cloud of dust. And Miller, the consolation prize for them, of course, well, it would be a big prize for Miller. He just lost that 3rd place handy to Brad Binder to turn 9 to go. He's going to flick it hard right now into turn number 10. Into a bit of lead angle, so Miller out of 4th.
Put up a valiant effort, hasn't he, this afternoon to try and keep his hopes alive, but 31 to 32 flat for Quartararo last time round. He's now just got him, and then something to happen to Pecco Bagnaia. Bagnaia doing on our timing screens, it will be 9th, of course, with Joan Mir still up on 8th.
And who's behind Bagnaia right now? Frankie Morbidelli and Martin, and his closest allies in that VR46 Academy, so he doesn't have to worry about those two. We're late on here in this Valencia Grand Prix. It's Jorge Martin, because Brad Binder thinks it might be too late to hunt down Alex Rins at the front of this Grand Prix. That goatee very, very quick. He's not careful, isn't he? The Linear, hired by Ducati. He's going to be 3 laps away from it being mission accomplished here at the Ricardo side. Alex Rins leads it by nearly 3/4 of a second, and Martin,
for winning this Grand Prix, needs to deal with Jorge Martin as fast as he can. Suzuki up ahead of him. Whatever happens, it'll be a very, very popular trio.
Well, they had a celebratory party in the paddock last night. There was hundreds of people gathered at their hospitality to mark their departure. If Alex Rins does cling on to, well, you could not have scripted a more Hamamatsu factory. At the moment, it looks like Fabio Quartararo will start enough for him to retain the MotoGP World Championship. But what a fight he has put up, able to find a way through on Jorge Martin. He's almost running in the back of the...
Yeah, time's running out for him now. Alex Rins is managing this at the front of the field, and
From a milestone victory, here comes Binder. That has been coming. Too little too late to hunt down Alex Rins, but on the inside of Martinez, we'll check him as he comes through the second split on this penultimate, the race leader.
And this is the battle then for, well, it's ninth, but there he's running in fifth position ahead of Miguel Oliveira. They're in a pretty close battle on the road, just ahead of Frankie Morbidelli. And it's Morbidelli behind him, just jump out of his way.
But what a exciting season finale, our title decider in Valencia, with Suzuki on course, right on course now to win their first MotoGP World Championship. A lot of very difficult and demanding years for the Borgo Panigale factory. Motions will be flying very, very shortly for the Bologna factory, because tenth of a second out of Alex Rins. The gap over the line just the 7/10 of a second.
Take of Jorge Martin, which must have slowed him down a little bit, so it will take some pretty special things over his MotoGP career over the years.
Pecco Bagnaia then now.